Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The advantage of beating a mute man is that he cannot tell you off. And in the moment in which you force a man to work in such conditions that may damage his life or may damage his security, that's the moment in which we, as a state, must intervene. Because maybe the human dignity should be attacked, it should be offensed or mocked. But in the moment in which the human dignity is lost, it's our duty as a responsible modern-day state to intervene. And for sustaining this idea, we're going to present you 3 big constructive points. I'm going to talk about the legitimacy of this action. Secondly, about the efficiency, and I'll explain you why this measure and this only measure is the one that will succeed, while my colleague will explain why even in a laissez-faire society, economical one, we may succeed with this action. But firstly, let's look at the point of legitimacy. Now I'm going to have 3 layers of analysis. Firstly, talking about the social contract. We believe that in a state, in a normal state, there is a social contract. What do we understand by this? We understand that we, as simple citizens, give some of our absolute rights to the state in order for protection. This protection has different layers: social protection, economical protection. Well, the biggest thing we say is that in the moment in which some companies, state or non-state companies, abuse this protection in the means that they abuse our security and they threaten our lives, that's the moment in which we as a state have the moral, legit duty to intervene, because it is the way that we interact with our citizens. It is the moment in which we say that the citizens should be protected by us because we conceded that the state is the one truly protector of our rights. Now, secondly, the evolution of the state. We believe that the duty of the state nowadays is not only to assure our survival. It's not only about me trying to survive on a day-by-day basis, but furthermore, it's about assuring as much happiness to as much people as we can. That's how the state should intervene in our modern times. We believe that the state should not only think that, okay, in that companies that require workers to work on dangerous places, no, it's not okay just because they give them some wages. It is not okay because it does not count for their future. And we believe that any company should regard the future of its employees. We believe that employees have this right, have this fundamental modern right to be treated as human persons in all conditions. And we believe that's why we have evolved since the 18th century England, in which child labor was such a good excuse for not paying children. We believe that society has evolved and by this concept of happiness, by this concept of natural progress, we have ensured some laws that protect labor. And we believe that in the moment in which we have such a great abuse as threatening their security, we must and we may intervene as a responsible state. Furthermore, the third layer of analysis, the practical legitimacy, because even if it is totally principally legitimate, we must look at how this affects practically the employees. Because when we think about those guys working in these sweatshops, we're not talking about middle class or rich guys that are working in these companies. We're talking about children or poor people. Now, firstly, team opposition may stand up in their next speech and talk to us about freedom of choice and the fact that they have chosen. But that's not totally true, because they have not made that choice in full consciousness. They were forced by the context of being poor. They were forced by the fact that companies do not employ people if they do not accept their conditions. Even if they could, because Walt Disney uses sweatshops, even if they could survive without them, they use it just for bigger profit. And this profit, it's not that much of a difference. It is used only for a small difference of profit, only because capitalism is not truly good understood. We believe that because of this context, it is not always their choice. It's not their personal choice, and that is why we can always intervene when this can happen. Also, we believe that because the lowest fines and the lowest wages are paid to those people, the companies will always choose to employ always these guys because they're the ones who will have the same low wages all the time. And this leads me to my second argument about the efficiency of this measure. Also, 3 layers of analysis. I'm going to talk about efficiency, about accountability, and also about the social response. Firstly, about efficiency. We believe that there have been many interventions and many groups that were trying to intervene in order to stop this kind of action, sweatshops. But the thing that really exists today is that other massive groups have failed, other riots have failed because the state didn't take a stance. And in the moment in which the state does not take a stance, that's the moment in which the people understand that, okay, the state doesn't really care about this, so maybe it is not so important. Now, in the moment in which the state intervenes in such a way, we believe that the state tells to the people it's important and tells to the people that they should also intervene. Moreover, all the other measures that were implemented did not affect the profit of the companies. And when you do not affect the profit of the company, which is the basic fundamental way that the company exists, you do not make the company care. But affecting the selling of those goods, it's affecting directly the company. And we believe that yes, we cannot just close down that company because it's part of our GDP. But we can affect and tell them it's wrong, you can survive without this, you can do well without these sweatshops, but still we want you to respect human rights at their finest. Secondly, about accountability. We believe that in the moment in which we implement such a motion, the level of accountability between the state and those companies increases. And the increased level of accountability is always required. We believe that even if in a laissez-faire society, even in a society that is controlled by a central bank, we do not care. In any capitalistic type of society, it's great to have accountability. It's great that I can control what happens with human rights in a company, because human rights are always important. In neither doesn't matter which is the economic system in which we're developed. And this leads me to the last point of my speech about the social response. Because what we see is that in the moment in which we have a state that intervenes, the people gain trust because they see that the state intervenes for the poor people that are treated not so well. And the people trust more the state, and the people understand that there is more transparency. And the state intervenes and creates a bridge between the people, the companies, and the state. And this is when the social poles respond well to the development of the state. For all these reasons, at the end of the day, we have proven you that this measure is legitimate because it is principally legitimate, because it does not affect anyone, but it has advantages for both the state and the people, and thirdly, because it's the single measure that has worked and will work because it affects directly the company where it hurts the most. So for all these reasons, we believe that it is necessary to take a final fundamental stance because the human dignity was insulted for way too much. I thank you and I beg you to propose.